So why might you be perpetuating your own vet med anxiety? So here's the deal. A lot of you guys have been watching the things that I've been talking about, the videos I've posted. You may have participated in some of my anxiety management workshops, and that stuff helps, right? It definitely helps. But without action, you're just going to go ahead and perpetuate the cycle. So I wanted to take a second and step back and kind of explain in a different way why it is so important that you take an active role in eliminating your own anxiety as it comes from vet med and actually all the different areas of your life. So overall, the main concept here is that problems need solutions. You know this already, right? You guys are doctors, like you get this. And that's what you do all day, every day, is you identify the problems and then you provide the solutions in the means of information and resources and advice, things like that. That's how you're providing solutions. But in order for you to be able to provide the appropriate solution, you have to first understand the problem, right? So you can have a dog come in and the owner can say the dog is sick, or you can just look at the dog and know that the dog doesn't feel well. Like that is a skill that you have. But just because you look at the dog and you see that it doesn't feel well, doesn't mean that you know how to make it better. You can recognize that it feels crummy, but until you have more information, you can't actually understand what the solution to that problem might be. So let's consider this dog comes in and it feels crummy, and you do some testing, you do some analysis, and you determine that it's diabetic. Well, now that you have a label for what's wrong, you know how to move forward in the solution. So the solution for a diabetic dog would be insulin therapy, right? But would you just know that it needs insulin and then have it get better? No, like that's not going to work, is it? So it's kind of like our anxiety. Just because we recognize that we have anxiety, knowing it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make it manageable, does it? So we have to dig a little deeper to find the solution. The only way we can do that is to understand where it comes from, because once we understand where it comes from, what the cause is, then we can create the right solution for that. So back to our diabetic dog, you understand the physiology behind diabetes. You understand what is needed in that case. So when the sick dog comes in and then you do some analysis and you determine that it's diabetic, you now know that the solution to that is insulin therapy. Beyond that, you also know that in order to maintain this diabetic dog at a high quality of life, a single shot of insulin one time is not going to handle it, is it? No, it's not going to take care of the diabetes. It's not going to get that dog back to the level of life and the quality of life that it can have. Our anxiety is much the same way. So when we kind of dive in a little bit and we look at it and we kind of address it a little bit and then we ignore it again, it's the same thing. We perpetuate the cycle of anxiety because we're not ever getting it to a state that we fully understand it or that we fully provided a solution for it. It's only after you do that work to dig in and to understand that you can really then identify how it is that you're going to manage it given your own situation. So much like our diabetic dog, we know it's diabetic, we know it needs insulin, and now we know it's going to need insulin at a specific dose on an interval that's appropriate for that animal in order for that diabetes to be maintained. So what I want to offer you is the opportunity to do the same for yourself. Many of you have been watching what's going on over here at Joyful DVM, and you've been listening to these Tuesday Facebook Lives. You've been taking that information and you've been applying it here and there. And I think that's amazing. I'm so glad that you're doing it because you already understand way more about what's going on with you than you did before, for sure. But what I want to share is that that's not enough. For many of you, you're still cycling in your anxiety. It's still affecting your life, and not only your job, but your whole entire life. And some of you feel really helpless. You feel like there isn't anything that you can do to make it go away permanently. And I just want you to know that there is. There's absolutely a lot that you can do if you'll take the time to actually dig into it and do a little bit of work so that you can get in front of it. That's the key to all of it, right? So if you'll recall, there are 4 main causes of anxiety in vet med. Do you remember what they are? They are personal inexperience, unexpected outcomes, prior decisions, and human interactions. Those are the 4 main causes of anxiety in vet med. And honestly, they probably apply to most of your life in general. But just knowing those causes isn't enough to stop their impact, is it? You have to understand how all of those 4 things are showing up in your own life. How are they showing up in your own career? Because once you understand how they're showing up, then you can identify where your opportunities are to change it. In the anxiety management workshops that I've held, and I've held 2 of them so far, we held one over 30 days, and it was really long. And for those of you who joined and made it through the whole 30 days, I applaud you, because that shows a lot of commitment on your part to actually understand and take action to get your anxiety under control so it stops influencing the rest of your life. After that, I recognized 30 days was really long, and so we did another one for 5 days. And that one was about the right period of time. But what I've learned from people who've gone through it is they didn't get through it in the 5 days. It was extended for a little bit of time afterwards, but not everybody got through it. The people who did get through it had some massive impact. They're actually doing really amazingly well with their anxiety because they understand it, and they're using the tools that were provided there. But for the rest of you, it's some things that happened is that life just got in the way. You got busy, you got tired, the anxiety took over, and you didn't come back in. Like, there's all these things that we do to kind of deal with the anxiety without actually understanding and changing the anxiety. And that actually got in the way for some of you with the 5-day anxiety management workshop. So here's what I wanted to try this time. We've had over 600 people so far go through these workshops. Absolutely amazing. But this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it on a single day, on a Sunday, and I'm going to do it live. I want you all in. If you are ready to not only understand your anxiety, but to fully embrace the solutions, to learn the tools, and to actually move forward powerfully in your life so that this does not continue to impact what you do moving forward, then I want you to think about joining us in the live version of the Anxiety Management Workshop. I'm going to hold it on Sunday, December 15th. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Time, so it's a 4-hour commitment, and it's going to be live. I'm going to go through all of the causes of vet med anxiety, and it's a workshop. You're going to be doing things in real time. You're going to need a notebook. You're going to need a pen. You're going to need some time to focus on this. But I promise you, if you come to this workshop and you spend the time doing the work in our time together and really engaging with what you can learn here, your solution is going to be so obvious, and you're going to be so empowered to move forward that you're going to be managing your anxiety day in and day out and understanding it day in and day out moving forward. It's going to become a habit, just like anything else that you do in your life. Getting up and taking a shower every day, going through the drive-through to get your cup of coffee in the morning, whatever the things are that are in your life day in and day out, you need to put your mental health as a priority there, because there's so many things that we are doing that are driven by the negative emotions that we feel, and that takes away your power. It also creates a situation where you don't address the thing that's the problem. And so, like I said at the beginning of this, problems need solutions. And just like a diabetic dog needs the solution of insulin on a regular basis, for those of us who suffer from anxiety, we need the solution of understanding where it comes from and then the regular application of the tools so that we can get it under control. And the thing is, as time goes on, it gets easier and easier. And those habits that have perpetuated this anxiety life that you have, those habits are broken as you just dig in and you address it and you study it and you understand it and you apply the tools to manage it day in and day out.